here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. What is this? The crisis of children.
Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News today. It is Saturday, 15th of March. The time is 9:46 in the morning. Incredible news. This is beyond the comprehension of the sacrifice that we have done. And I believe that there's no words whatsoever to explain this. The Darien Gap left a wound that it's open, and it is always going to remain open in my heart. I don't know, my colleague Ben, which we took this decision together. It was a decision that we took together back in 2023, 2 years ago. And I remember that I told Ben Berquam, said it's time to go in the Darien. And he told me, you know what, Oscar, but we need to go in there. And I will get to that story so you guys can understand why this is incredibly emotional, but in a way, all the work, all the sacrifice through life and death, to sicknesses, through all the things that personally I went through inside of that place to bring the news to the world, specifically to the American people and the Latino population. Was it worth it? If you ask me again, recording under bullets, gunfire, rape, bandits, cartel, multiple mudslides, difficult rivers to cross, seeing people die, seeing children die, seeing children suffer. Was it worth it? And I will tell you, this is the most horrible place that I have been in. The most horrible place. But was it worth the sacrifice to bring the reality and truth to the world? Because what we did in Panama, nobody has ever done it. Other networks have gone in there, like the New York Times, and they have always just done the pandering situation, not explaining the reality of what our Latino people are going through and why this was a weaponized migration and why every NGO was profiting out of this. And we understood from the first time that we went in there, January of 2023. In my birthday, I was in there, sleeping on a hammock in the middle of the jungle. I remember clearly that I said, when I got out, I got interviewed by, when I got out, that was the first time that I met face-to-face my mentor, my good friend, Chuck Holton. And he was there waiting for us when we got out on the Darien for the first time with Michael Young. And he saw me. I was torn up. I was tired. I was exhausted. I couldn't get up. I couldn't stand up of all the walking and exhaustion and dehydration. And I was sick. I didn't know that, but I was sick with dengue. And had high fever. I was a disaster. I was sitting down, and I remember Chuck did this little interview for CBN. And he said, Oscar, how do you plan to close the Darien? You want to shut down the Darien. How do you plan it? I said, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. And everything that we have done, exposure of these NGOs taking advantage, everything that we sacrifice as a team to show the world what the reality and what was the truth about this place, with Michael Young, with Chuck Colton, with Ben Berquam, with myself, with Matthew Tomlett, with Matthew Bracken, all of these people that I just mentioned were part of this, showing this. And right now, the government of Panama just released this. It's us. This is our webpage. You guys can go and find it. It's Oscar Blue Ramirez News. Give it a like to the video. Share the video. If you guys like to continue with our live feed, give it a like to the video. Share the video. Like the video. Share the video. Buy me a coffee is right there, pinned in the chat for people who want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund. Panama, the government of Panama has announced shutdown of the Darien Gap in certain centers of immigration. The flow has decreased 98%. Not only the Trump administration has hit the pockets of these criminals, that they were taking advantage of the good people, that they wanted to get to a better place. This is not a route, by the way. But the cartel of Colombia got rich out of the necessities, out of the vulnerabilities, and out of the life of migrants, charging tourist packages $340, $360 per person, making money out of millions of people, and people that possibly they were not going to live. Somebody said, you need to talk about what happened in Jalisco. It is important. I already did. What happened in Teochitlan, the extermination camps. I already did a huge live feed about it. And this is so important because you got to give it to the government of Panama. You have to give it to them. There's no other way. As a small country as Panama with a big heart absorbed every single situation in terms of this world crisis that the Biden administration never wanted to call it a crisis until it collapsed. And they were the ones that collapsed it. And Panama took all and absorbed everything, the cost, the corruption, the cartel on the other side of Colombia attacking migrants, and these agents, the angels of the jungle that I call them, that is called Centerfront, going into the jungle and fighting these cartel members in a gunfight. Every time going in there, putting their lives in danger, rescuing migrants through a multiple mudslides and a difficult river crossing and difficult mountains. It's so wow. Whoever has been in here, that it has been counted with our hand, journalists, that they have done it multiple, like us, 4 times nobody. But I've seen journalists that have done it twice, 3 times, possibly halfway. Whoever has been in here knows the traumatizing situation that this is. This is horrible. And for it has decreased 98%, it tells you the level of impact of an immigration law And it's just unbelievable how it has decreased 98%. The article, you can go and find it in our webpage. Here on this picture, you're actually going to see the heroes that they are the center front officials. Every single one of them deserves a Medal of Honor. Specifically, my friend Guerra, that he's a lieutenant of the center front authorities of Mexico. There's some journalists that they went in there one time. We went in there 4 times. 4. Guerra is the guy that I'm pointing with the finger right here, and is the guy that is hugging Ben. Ben is hugging him. That is the guy. He deserves a medal. I don't even know how many people he has rescued. He's a brave man. Brave Panamanian. It was an honor. I always told him, it has been an honor to walk with you. It has been a complete honor to walk with you. He showed me so much, and he taught me so much of survival in epicenters of crisis, and how to understand and digest situations where they are extremely critical for your mind to understand the suffering of a human being. Seeing a decomposed body and seeing children drowning and women drowning and women suffering and men and women being raped, and my God, it's just so difficult to overcome that. Even with time, you are never going to overcome it. For me, it's never going to be overcome. It left a deep mark in my heart and in my soul. But we had to go in there. We had to show the world what it was. As I have said multiple times before, we understood that our bodies were made to absorb the pain and then to release the pain. When we were through here, that was the whole situation. We knew that it was going to be painful, not only to our bodies. That's why we needed to prepare physically, mentally strong, but to see and absorb everything that we were seeing on that place, that it was just a hellhole. To see that and to basically transmit that through us and through the network and through the world, it was difficult. Because sometimes people were like, Oscar, you're pandering to them. No, it's you don't understand. They're using this, a weaponized migration. They are using people for a political purpose. And these people are dying over here. They're in the middle of the jungle, dying, drowning in a mudslide, children, abuse, women, cartel operating. It was horrible. And today, the authorities of Panama inform 98%. I will try to translate. It says the president of Panama, Jose Raul Mulino, has assured that the route of the Darien has reduced into 98%, and it also goes hand in hand with Donald Trump in the White House. President of Panama, Raul Mulino, announced on this Thursday that he is going to close some immigration centers that they have been part of the Darien Gap, a jungle, which more than 1 million migrants have crossed since 2016. Molino also assured that the people that they were directed to the United States through this particular route has decreased in 98%, and that the mass deportations of Donald Trump has caused a fracture for migrants to understand that they cannot go through this jungle to get to the United States. This decision, over 10 years of functioning, look at this, over 10 years, people, these migrant camps were operating. Over 10 years, the migrant centers of Bajo Chiquito and Canan Membrillo. Bajo Chiquito is a place that we have visited so many times. Canan Membrillo, who were there operating under the supervision of the government of Panama to bring attention to our migrants as they were walking, giving them food, giving them medicine. This operation had more than 20 international NGOs in there. Guess what, NGO? You're not profiting out of human misery anymore. You're not. That is what you were doing. More than 20 international organizations were operating on these two sites inside of the Darien Gap, and guess what? They're about to be removed. There's no need for them to be there because there's nothing to be done. 98% has been decreased. Hope that is 101% at one point. But 98% it has decreased. And more than 20 NGOs were in there operating. And all of them, they are getting removed. They're not being funded anymore. Why they're not being funded? Why they're not being funded? Because USAID was canceled. That's the reason why. Because of the securing of the border of the United States, which means a lot of people are saying like, oh, they closed our route. They closed our route to go to the United States. No. Do you know how many lives have been saved? Do you know how many children, their psychological trauma has been canceled for them to not go through that? Do you know how many of these children just were saved from the suffering and the punishment inside of this place? Do you know how many women they have been saved from being raped and abused? Do you know how many men have been saved from losing their lives? Do you know how many soldiers from the government of Panama just got saved from being shot by the cartel? Do you know how much it has been saved of the environment that it already created a disaster of an environment inside of this place? But do you know how much trash it is not being let go on inside of this Darien jungle? Do you know how much money it has been saved and how many lives they have been saved to implement it on programs on the tribes in the Darien jungle of Panama? Don't give me your opinion if you haven't been in here. Don't challenge the opinion. Don't challenge it. Really don't. I will tell you something. Back in 2023, Ben and I took the decision to go the whole route. It was 18 days of torture. We went all the way to the borders with Venezuela and Colombia. Then we went up the jungle through the port of Colombia in Capurganá, extremely dangerous, with the cartel. We didn't go the whole way. We wanted to do it the right way, so we got out of there. We went through the part of Colombia. We went through the part of Panama on the coast in a boat, entered Panama, sealed our passports, and then done deal. On a meeting, the phrase, God's plan is our mission, came from a meal. Let me tell you that story. A lot of people say, why you say God's plan is our mission, Oscar? Because we were having a meal. Let me explain to you why. We were being denied access to go inside of the jungle. We were almost on 3 days, and we could not get access to the jungle in the first try. And it was late in the afternoon. We already talked to the authorities. The authorities were not given access because of the level of difficulty and the danger that we were about to encounter. And we were having dinner. I can tell you how it was. On this side, Michael Young. On that side, Matthew Tomlin. On this side, it was me. And the guy that was taking the picture was Matthew Bracken. We were having a meal. And what a lot of people that they're Christian, they pray on every meal, right? I was not accustomed to do that. I got accustomed hanging out with a lot of these war correspondents that the majority of them are Christian. So they told me, Oscar, you pray. So I started doing the prayer, and I said, Lord, let it be whatever you tell us that it will be. God's plan, it is our mission, I said. And Michael Young looked at me and he said, I like that, Oscar. It's a good slogan. I like that. You should write it down. And then Matthew Tomlin looked at me and they're like, hey, I like that, Oscar. It sounds good. 2 minutes later, the military from Panama came and they sat down with us in that meal. And they said, we got good news and we got great news. Which one you want? Said, well, whatever it is, let it in. You guys are authorized to go in. Wow. Said, thank you. And the great news, you guys are authorized, but you're going in with the good guys. You guys are going in with us. And we were like, what? For the first time in history, Centerfront is going to go the whole way with 2 journalists from here, from this route. And I looked at Ben and like, this is a miracle, man. We were not even expecting this. You ready? I'm ready. First day, first time, 4 days. We said never going back. We already done our job. We went back. We got into a gunfight with the Colombian cartel. 3 days in there. Third time, 3.5 days, almost 4. Decomposed body, children suffering. Horrible. 4th time going through the Death Mountain. 4 times in there. There was a purpose. Yes, there was a purpose for us to inform the catastrophe and the crisis, which is what's happening inside of this place. Which was it a teamwork? Yes, it was. A lot of people do not know how we got in the first time, and it was because of my mentor Chuck Holton that he passed a good word, and then from there we took it in. Then from there we had a great relationship with the Panamanian government. Myself, personally, directed with the director of Centerfront, with the Minister of Security, with the Minister of Immigration. It was all like structured perfectly to happen. And we showed the world, like nobody else, what the reality and the other story that nobody wanted to tell. That is the story of these guys that I have in the back. You see this thing that I got in the back right here? Those uniformed men are the heroes. That's us in the middle of the Flag Mountain. 98% it has decreased. 98% the flow inside of the Darien, it has decreased. You know, and it's all because one country said enough is enough. I'm a pro-migrant myself. I have said it multiple times. I will stand with what I say. I believe migration is a human right. But in those human rights, there is a law and there is a process. And we need to obey the law and obey the process for us to migrate. It's a reality. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. And I will tell you something. There's stories that they have marked my life inside of this place. Completely. Critics, leftists, progressive liberals, fake profiles, all of this BS. They will not even handle it one single hour in there. Under the humidity, mudslide, and seeing people suffer. I believe that I have said this story, and I take this because of the I was reading this article, right, that we wrote on our page. And just by seeing the picture, it brings me a lot of memories. You know, going through the river Chucunaque, saying hello to the tribesmen, saying hello to the Centfront officials, heroic agents. And, you know, there was so many stories that I can say to you, but, you know, usually what I do when I was in there, give it a like to the video, share the video, like the video, share the video, hit that bell button on YouTube, hit that like button on Facebook, hit that whatever button on X. We're live on X also. You know, I that's so many experiences that I have that I can say. There's a book that I'm going to pull out in the next month or so. Now the book is going to come out, and it's going to be sold on Amazon for people that want to buy it. And I'm going to start doing presentations over here in Mexico about how the difficulties of life and what can you accomplish with it. As I have seen the examples through torture in life. But I will tell you, as I was watching this, Panama has shut down or closed the Darien jungle in their immigration centers, more than 20, and the flow has decreased into 98%. I will tell you something. There was a story, and this basically put a lot of things in context. A lot of the things in context. Was going up this mountain, difficult. And there was this, you know, migrant, right? Beat up. Shoes were torn up, bleeding on his, you know, on the bottom of his foot was bleeding. Tore it up. And he was with his family, 2 kids, wife, and there was a bunch of people up in the mountain. Difficult to get up there. Got up there, you know, Ben was already there. Military men were there. You know, we were getting up there. Got up there, started, you know, now that we get up there, it's now to record interviews, record the area, right? See evidence. But it caught my attention, this man, that it was sitting down and was kneeling down, and he said, "Hey, I seen you." He said, I follow you on your TikTok videos. I seen you, man. I seen your videos. I follow you. And I looked and I said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you." I said, "Wow, it's an honor to meet you," he said. "Well, thank you." And I started talking to him normally, right? How it's been? And like, well, it's been hard. You know that I say that don't get in here. Don't get in here with your children. Don't do it. Why you did it? There's no other way. It's like, yes, there's other ways. You had like more than 20 countries, and they're not asking for a visa. You can go to more countries. Why the United States? Well, it's the American dream. No, it's difficult. The American dream is difficult. It's not easy. I always said this in Spanish and in front of hundreds of people. There's a video of me speaking. Matthew Tomlin is recording, and I will get to that before I jump into another story, right? Tell one and then the other one. And as I was there, this man told me, you know, I always wanted to ask you, you have a big backpack. What do you carry in there? And I said, oh, I started looking like a big shot, right? I started talking like a big guy because I carry a big backpack and it's like 20, it's like possibly like 50 pounds, something like that. So I was, you know, we always carry our backpack. So I was like, oh, I carry a hammock. I carry a pair of boots. I carry, you know, another pair of pants and, you know, 2 sets of this, 2 sets of that, food for the kids if they're walking and they're hungry, some candy for them to be just like, hey, you know, here it is. Be happy, smile in a horrible place. I don't know, sandals, you know, my equipment to record. That's what I carry. He was like, wow. And I said something later on that it was my learning lesson in life inside of this place. He said, I told him, and I carry it because I want to feel what you guys feel when you're carrying your backpacks. So I want the whole experience. And he looked at me really sincere. And he said, that is impossible. You're never going to feel what we feel on our backpacks. And I said, what do you mean? In my brain and in my thoughts, it was because I said, well, I carry a big backpack. It's heavy. You know, what do you mean? And I looked at his backpack and he had just a small backpack and he had just some shoes and some sandals, I'm sorry, and some other things for food for his children. I said, well, you carry a small backpack, brother. I understand that you're going through a horrible situation, but he said, you're never going to feel what we feel, what we have in our backpacks. And again, I said, come again? And he said, yes, because in your backpack, you got material things. In my backpack, I have my mom, my dad, my family, the crisis in my country, my friends, my home, everything. It is in this backpack. My dreams. And I go, whoa. Whoo. I looked at him and I said, thank you. You just taught me a huge lesson. You learn so much from the most simplistic things in life. And I learned that day, inevitably, that through whatever crisis and catastrophe, that's where I felt it the most. That I said, man, they're using these people. Man, they're using the Latino continent just to profit out of an agenda. These people are not even thinking. They're thinking on a dream. But most of that, what they're carrying in their backs, it is a dream. And it is the suffering of their crisis, of their countries, and so. And I'm here carrying a backpack with just material things, not understanding the whole significance of the weight that they carry in their backs to accomplish to cross that horrible place. Learning lesson, huge learning lesson in life. Huge learning lesson in life. I said, thank you so much. And he said, why? I will tell your story every time that I speak. Because you are the pedestal of accomplishing something for your family. Whether this is wrong, because I will tell you, I said, this is wrong. What you're doing right now, it is wrong. You shouldn't be putting your family and your children through here. But I'm not in your shoes. I'm no authority to tell you don't do it. I'm a journalist only. I'm here to document what you're doing. And it is horrible what you're doing. And it is wrong. The only thing that I can tell you, it is wrong. But It is your decision with your family. You are the leader. You're the head of your family. And you're the one that is going to take this decision. But I said, thank you. I sat down with him for like 15, 20 minutes and I talked to him about, I always sit down with migrants and we talk about life, just life in general. You know, a lot of these journalists want to go into Darien and they want to get the likes and the views and the millions and followers. And when you're in there, the least that you think is that if you are with the purpose of doing something, with the purpose of doing something like this, the closing of the Darien Gap, because you understand that that is not around and that should be closed because they're abusing people. There's women that are being raped, children that are dying, men that are dying, the organized crime and the cartel in Colombia massively operating. It's human days, it's in modern day slavery. So you understand the purpose that this is not about views, this is not about likes, this is not about millions of followers. This is about doing something about it. And those are the moments that you're like, something we're doing right. We're doing something right. So many experiences. You know, I was standing in the middle of a migrant camp that is called Lajas Blancas. A lot of the migrants, they know me from the videos. And I was going through a specific group, and all of a sudden I'm being surrounded by like 300 of them in this migrant camp. And I start speaking in Spanish. One of them started saying, can you tell us what is going on in the United States? And this is recent. This is the last trip that I took. My friend Matthew Tomlin was there with me. And he said, Oscar, speak. I will record you. I said, okay. So I stood in front of all these men. I used to do this a lot when I was there in all the migrant camps. All the migrant camps, I used to be there. I used to speak to them a lot. And I used to speak to them the truth about what's going on. I used to say, you see these NGO, United Nations? Yeah. They're taking advantage of you. You see this OIM, you see this UNHCR, you see HIAS, you see these NGOs. What are they telling you? Are they in the middle of the Darien Gap? Are they in the middle of your country helping? No, they're not, right? What are they providing right now? Just a pathway for you to continue walking on a treacherous, horrible journey, right? Yes. Are they helping? No. And I was in the middle of this camp, Lajas Blancas. There was like 300 men of them. And all of a sudden, I said, I'm going to talk to them. And this is when the Venezuelans started doing horrible things. Not the Venezuelan people, Venezuelan criminals. Because Venezuelan people, they're beautiful. They're good people. But the criminals, they're bad. Huge. You guys notice how many delinquent bandits have entered the border of the United States and caused so much harm. And I got in front of all these people and I said, está entrando un cochinero de gente a los Estados Unidos. There is really bad and trash people entering the United States of America. They're giving a bad reputation to the good Venezuelan migrant. I know Venezuelan migrants. They're my friends. Some of them, they work in networks in the United States. I know good people. I have walked with doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, teachers. And all of them, they have a dream to do things right. But there's a lot of bad people that they're crossing this Darien and they're going to the United States to do harm. And I stood in front of them and I said something. I said, if you're a criminal, and if you are an individual who's going to do horrible things in the United States of America, this is your time. Go back. Do not go more further. Stop here and go back. And I looked at every single one of them in the eye. I used to speak to these people like that. I didn't have the authority to do that, but I had the freedom to do that. And I took advantage of the opportunity, and I said, well, might as well talk to them. If they're asking me to speak about it, I'll speak about it. And now 98% of this route has been decreased. You guys don't even imagine how it was being in there and seeing thousands of people walking down a mountain, walking through a dangerous river. It's just horrible. It was never, we couldn't, there were so many people to interview that we didn't have the time to do it. It's that much. It was so many, thousands of them. And now if you ask me right now, if I would like to go in there with 98% of the flow like that, slow down, I will go in there just to say, this is the aftermath of what the Biden administration did to this jungle. To the environmentalists, that will be my mission. If I wanted to go in there again, this is what you cost. This is what the United Nations have cost. This is what OIM has cost. This is what the UNHCR has cost. This is what the globalists have cost. This is what George Soros has cost. This is what Alex Soros has cost. This is what Antonio Guterres, director of the United Nations, has cost. This is what Biden, Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas have cost. This is what, for all of you fake environmentalists, you should be here. There's more than 60 tons of trash inside of this pristine jungle, completely destroyed. The water fully contaminated. Is going to take decades for the water to be pristine and clean again. You fake environmentalists that always complain about the wildlife, PETA, it completely affected the wildlife. The animals do not go down to drink water at the river. They have to go and find a route to eat, to live, to survive. It is irreparable. The damage that this environmental disaster has caused, it is irreparable. You cannot repair it anymore. It is never going to come back. Never. That jungle is completely destroyed. And you had all these leftist networks trying to go in there and never talked about the impact of the environment. Never. They talked about it. There was a Hispanic network went in there and talked about it like 20 seconds. How is that not a topic? When you are sucking the teeth in the United States of America with funds to USAID for environmental disasters and climate change and all this BS, but you're destroying a foreign territory with foreign policies, and you're not even being responsible on fixing it. If I will go in there a fifth time, it will be for that. It will be to show that there needs to be consequences for Mayorkas, for Biden, for Kamala Harris. Consequences of the damage that they have done for the tribesmen. For the tribesmen. The tribe of the Emberá and the Guna. That you completely change their culture because of these open border policies. You know, the Guna and the Emberá, they're one of the most incredible tribes in the continent of America. Historically, they're incredible. And these tribesmen They were dedicated to the cultivation of caña and the corn and the rice and all of this. Beautiful. They live when you go in there and you're in this canoe, right? And this piragua, it's called piragua, but it's a canoe. And when you go in there and you see the children jumping out of cliffs into the river, and it's just it's freedom. It's freedom. You don't see that. It's just, there's no technology. There's no iPhone to be interest as a number one purpose. It's just freedom to go out there, play, dirt, water, wildlife. See, this is beautiful. And then you see on the other side is all contaminated water, trash, decomposed bodies. Who is going to extract all the decomposed bodies that you have never? Man, we were going through a part in the Death Mountain, and there is a part that is called El Panteón del Migrante. It's at 2,200 feet in the air that is called Migrant Cemetery. It smells as a decomposed body more than 100%. And it is a cliff that is 1 meter length like this. It's just, you can barely walk with your 2 feet. You slip, you go. This mass migration opened another market for these NGOs and ultimately for the Emberá tribesmen in the Guna. They started directing themselves not from their customs, but through other things, right? The migration camps and putting tents and putting the food for the market and, and ultimately the guidance to the jungle. All of that was involved. And you're like, wow, it opened another market. Those are the Biden jobs. Huge other market it opened. And these people forgotten about, the most important, beautiful thing of these tribes was their culture, their customs. And now you go in the middle of the jungle and you will see children from the tribes playing in tons and tons of mountains of trash. A lot of them, they did not even know the word trash because it was so pristine, it was so clean. Now you start getting the tribesmen getting sick with sicknesses that they were not even getting sick with. Malaria, dengue, high fever. You start getting sicknesses. And a lot of these tribes, they were getting sick because of this mass migration. They completely almost destroyed their culture. These globalists trying to be humanitarian, they did completely the opposite. Completely the opposite. It's a whole disaster what they caused. And now imagine the thousands of decomposed bodies that they were in there. Consistently, every day, people were dying and didn't make it out. I got a story for you. Let me see if I can bring it up right here to the screen. 98% breaking news, 98% of the flow through the Darien Gap has decreased. 98% of the flow through the Darien Gap has decreased. And that is an incredible number for people that they do not know about this. That is an amazing and incredible number. For me, it is shocking to hear the number and to try to digest and understand. 98%, you got to be kidding me. That's an incredible number. But I want to bring a story to you guys right here This is a story on a third journey, and let me just find the story right here so I can hold on. Okay, here we go. I will put this story and I will tell you why we did this story. Oh my God, I declined it. No. Hold on. And I want everybody to understand why. And why this story, it is so important. Hold on, let me just get it right here. Mm-hmm. There we go. This right here. I will put the video up now that we have 98% flow that it has decreased to the Darien Gap. This is a story that I'm also putting in my book. It is called La criatura que no conoció el amor, solo el dolor. The child that never knew love, only knew pain. Why the story is like that? The body that you see behind, it is a decomposed body of a woman from Venezuela that was pregnant 5 to 6 months with her child. She lost her life trying to cross the Darien jungle, pregnant, with her child inside of her. Brainwashed by the cartel and the organized crime and all these media bloggers telling people it's okay, it is easy, it's okay, it is easy. This is a huge consequence. This is why I tell you, right now that is 98% decrease IM. It's something personal, because people that they have been there and see the suffering and see the consequences of what Biden, Mayorkas, and Kamala Harris, what they have done to the world. And we did it 4 times, and we saw this crisis 4 times. We understand more than anybody that this place needed to be shut down, and that the one that needed to do this to set a consequence and ultimately a domino effect to the whole continent was supposed to be the number one, that is the United States. The current administration of the United States of America, inside of the Darien Gap, not only saving lives, but protecting lives from being lost, like this woman that it was pregnant. La criatura que no conoció el amor, solo el dolor. The child that never knew the word love, only knew the word pain. Inside of her, there was a child that it was not born yet, but that child experienced pain, experienced suffering, experienced suffocation, experienced hunger, dehydration, fever. In the last moments of his life, not even knowing what is going on outside, why he was dying, why he was not breathing, what is going on, why am I here for, not even knowing the knowledge of what he's doing in there. This right here is more than a clear example on how they were brainwashing people and how they were telling people there is a route. When you have a pregnant woman of 5 to 6 months walking through this horrible journey and inspiring her and incentivizing her to continue out of the necessities that she's suffering, although they will have another option to get a better life. But no, you put her through this journey. The cartel is vicious. This is why in Mexico they need to be designated as terrorists. They just found 2 extermination camps, one in Teochitlan, Jalisco, horrible, and the other one in Tamaulipas, and you will find consistent collective groups looking for people that they were buried, kidnapped, abused, dismembered bodies. The cartel in Colombia was vicious. And this is an example of how vicious they were. They didn't care if the woman was pregnant. They didn't care if the woman can make it or not. They only wanted their paycheck. This right here is horrible. And this is the reason why when you hear 98% that it has decreased, Lord have mercy, man. More than that, we are just like, thank you, Lord. Because nobody knows this.
Oscar Blue, Ben Berkwan for Real America's Voice News. See people on the back crossing the river. And this is the result of open border policies. With all these humanitarians, all these NGOs, that they are making a benefit in the borders with Mexico and the United States, they don't care about the result in this. This is the decomposed body, second decomposed body, presumably a woman by the entity of Haiti. The other body that we saw it yesterday. This is what open border policies will do. They don't care about human life. They don't care about people migrating to the Darien Gap. They only cared about their profit and completely destroying borders. Not only that, they don't care about people not living and dying consistently in this jungle. This is the result. Look at the people yelling, trying to cross the river. This is how aggravated this is, continuously. And I cannot bear to show you children crossing right now this river, this current. And there's a body right here. There's a body right here laying down. As we are talking about that, there people are risking their lives. People are more risking their lives. Stop with this. Stop with these open border policies. Joe Biden, Alejandro Mayorkas, you're the one that is doing this. Not only through your country, but through all South America and the world. People are dying because of your open border policies. Oscar Blue, Ben Berkwan for Real America's Voice News in the middle of the jungle. Sadly, reporting this kind of news for all of you guys.
That was a video which also was my colleague Ben, and he was the one that it was recording. He was the one that it was holding the camera. I hold the camera for him, and then he hold the camera for me. We thought that it was a migrant woman from Haiti, and I will, God rest her soul, this woman, but her body was so decomposed that the color of her skin was so dark. And with all respect, right? I'm saying this with all respect. We thought that it was a woman from Haiti. Everybody thought that it was a woman from Haiti, but no. She was a migrant. Later on, we found out that it was a migrant from Venezuela. Her body was so decomposed per days now that it was bloated and it was about to decompose massively. And inside of her, this is why she was so, bloated inside. It was a child. And this is where I say what I have been explaining. And I have been consistently being transparent of what this place meant to us. Now that we hear that 98% of the flow has decreased inside of the Darien jungle, I will tell you something. I will be much scared to go right now, concerned, scared to go right now inside of this place alone, right now with nobody walking there. It will be something, because now you are going to have to deal with the wildlife, hauling monkeys, panthers, jaguars, wild pigs, huge snakes, alligators, crocodiles, whatever you want to call it. For us to understand at this point that the flow has decreased 98%. We have gone in there multiple times, it is a huge accomplishment. We don't need a medal. We don't need a trophy. My colleague and myself, we knew from the start what was our purpose to go in there. I said to Ben, you do it in English, I'll do it in Spanish. And I'm doing it in Spanish because we really need to send a message of this crisis to the whole continent in Spanish. You break it in English, man. You got it, Blue. Although it was exhausting, sometimes we were annoyed at each other because of the enormous exhaustion and the exhaustion of being in there for 3-4 days, walking, suffering, seeing children suffer, dying, women raped, and it's just horrible crimes that you have to deal with emotionally, consistently every day. Then when you get out there, you got to be, ready to go on the network and speak about it and talk about it. Then you got to go home. And when you go home, you have to deal with it and be okay with it. That you just came back from seeing people die, decomposed bodies, children suffering, and all of that. You have to digest it and be like, okay, I'm good. No pasa nada, estoy bien. Then they invite you to go again, and then you got to go see it double now because it's raining season. It is more suffering, more people drowning, decomposed bodies, and there's disasters, shootings, women being raped, children again being abused. Then you go back home and you're like, I'm okay. Plus, you get sick with malaria, so you're like, I'm gonna sit down in the house and just. It's incredible to. It's the word we use incredible a lot. Increíble, no? Incredible is like shocking over here. Translation. It's shocking to see all these kind of things, and then you have to go back home. And when you go back home, you got to deal with it normally, And it's just, pues está bien, no? It's okay. We have seen a lot, and now that it's 98% decreased. 98% decreased. Lastly, I want to show you a video. Let me see if I can get this video on right here. And I want to put this video on because it is possibly the moment that marked my life inside of this place. But let me see if I have it still. And if you guys can bear with me just 1 second. I think I have it right here. Yes, I do. Well, I will put 2 videos. Let me put one and then I will put the other one. I think I'm going to do 1 hour and 30 minutes on this live. Accept, save to downloads. Let me put it on so I can explain to you what I mean. All these experiences, man, so many stories, man. And not even talking about the caravan stories that I walked 12 of them. It's just, it's so many stories. Let me just put this video right here for everybody to understand. Where is it at? Here we go. This right here. This young kid marked my life. He's from Venezuela. He's around 11, 12 years of age. He was heavy. My bag, as I tell you, was wet, was heavy, really difficult to cross every river, and it was extremely difficult. You see this man with his child right here on the back. Everybody was carrying their child in their shoulders, right? You see a couple of parents right here carrying their children, in their shoulders. You see that? As I was walking in there, as I tell you, a few of the migrants, they knew me from the videos. So one of them was consistent, and it was the mother of this child. And I was walking in the middle of this river, and I was extremely exhausted, tired. My colleague Ben was extremely sick on the third. Man, he was sick. He was sick. God bless his heart, man. My brother. I don't know. He has some guts to make it like that, man. Also, out. It's a strong dude. And I was walking, and the mother was telling me, hey, help me. The mother, I saw her feet, and her feet were completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. Her feet were completely cut open. They were bleeding. And I said, no, I'm tired. I can't. I said, no, I can't. Then the child comes down all the way to the cliffside. And the mother tells me, can you carry him across? I'm like, no, I can't. I'm tired. I'm really tired. I can't. I'm extremely tired. I'm exhausted. I can't. I can barely make it myself. I have this huge backpack. And he's like, come on, help me. I can't carry him. He's going to drown. Ah, my God. So I remember that I made this expression. I didn't want to put attention to him, saying, ay, por favor, ayúdame, por favor. So I didn't want to put attention. I was like, no, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it, because you hear it every day. Help me, please help me. You hear it consistently. Water, food, please help. So I'm like, no, I don't want to put attention. I was concentrated on crossing that river alone. So like, no, I don't want to do it. But then something made me look. And I looked, and I saw him putting his hands like this. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I said, all right. Come here. Jump on me. I'll carry you. Come here. You're heavy, I said. So I was carrying my backpack that is huge, heavy, wet, exhausted, tired. This is the third day of walking more than 12 hours per day since 6 o'clock in the morning all the way to 6 or 7 in the evening. Mountains, mudslides, rivers, sick. And then later on this.
No te sueltes. Agárrate ya.
Hey, acabo de traer ti por cualquier cosa.
Hey.
Más gente no. Mano, aguanta, más gente no. Espera que pase esto y se vuelve a meter 5 más. Dale, 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 causa, dale, quítale causa, dale, dale. Dale. Con fe, manito.
Espérame. Aguanta para la...
Ya va, espera un poquito más.
¿Cuál es la llave?
Deja que avance la cosa.
Now, before I press play, this is the other side of the story, right? This river, as you see in some places, it will go up my neck. And I'm carrying a child that is like 11, 12 years of age. My backpack, I'm exhausted. I'm sick. And there's multiple reef, like rocks on the bottom. So you don't know where you're stepping. You don't know what you're walking into. And I had to hold him and I tell him, tie your legs to my waist. I tell him in Spanish, hug my neck. Do not let go. With one hand, I'm holding him on the bottom, and the other one, I'm holding the la cuerda, the rope. And I had to cross like that.
Los niños primero, claro, los niños primero.
Hay un árbol ahí.
La prioridad de los niños. De a poco, mano, porque si no, perdemos la fuerza nosotros.
Amárrate con las piernas en mi cintura.
Mano, mira, si pasamos todos en la misma cabulla, la cabulla se va a ir para allá porque vamos a perder la fuerza nosotros. No, día 5 y día 5.
La muchacha acá con la nena anda conmigo, weón.
No, pero tranquilo, ¿qué vas a pasar, hermano? Tranquilo, ¿qué vas a pasar?
No, la cosa es que no sé, aquí tengo
No, ella te espera allá, ella te espera allá, tranquilo.
uno que me está desesperando. Ya va, Pedro. ¿Está dando mucho la corriente por allá o qué?
Ah, claro, está fuerte.
Dale, 5 más.
Eso es.
La aguanta bien.
Voy con todo. Dale, ven. 5.
Now, you can understand how this right now, for us that we have been in here 4 times, you can understand how we feel at this moment. That we just found out that it has decreased 98%. Why I say this, because when you hear that it has decreased 98%, you're like, thank God. We just like, wow, 98%, it is a miracle. Let me put you another video. And this is long, but I want to show you the whole situation of this video. And this is where I encounter myself again with this child again. That I tell you, this is the moment that really marked my life inside of this place. And with this, we will end our live feed today. Thank you so much for joining in. Buy me a coffee is right there pinned in the chat for people that want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund. Let me just put it right here. There we go, right here. Here we go. This is another river. This is on our 3rd time. At first, I didn't want to go in there. At first, I was like, what am I doing this? Why? I'm here to document. I'm here to do my journalistic job. I'm here to just do that. Why am I going in there? Why should I carry children? Why should I carry women? Why should I help women to get out? Why? It's not my job. They put themselves through this horrible journey. It is their own responsibility, right? It is their own decision. But there's a point in those kind of circumstances that you decide to say, I record or I help. And I think that every single human being has a human side of them. This is why today that they have said 98% it has decreased. And that ultimately, a lot of these NGOs, they're not taking advantage of this situation. It is comforting, and we are thankful to God for this. It's a 6-minute video. If I had to move it a little bit forward, I will move it. It's just hundreds of people crossing this horrible river, difficult one, with their children, with their women. It's bad. It's not nice at all. And then it's when I realized we had our cameraman at that time, Manuel de Jesus. Then my brother Ben was on this side, and I decided to say, the hell with it. I'm just going to help them from here. Just a little bit, I said. I'm just going to escort. I'm just going to help them get out of this rocky area. I'm not going to do as much. I'm just going to do it. My cameraman was recording everything. Meanwhile, I was just trying to do whatever the hell I can do, because we have lived through that. We have seen it. Nobody else has experienced this catastrophe and this crisis like we have. Look at that. Look at that. Man, my God. Man, it gives me goosebumps when I see this. I mean, look at that, children being carried. Lord, thank you for ending this. Thank you so much, Lord. Thank you so much, Lord, for ending this. Thank you so much, Lord. This father holding a child like that. Thank you so much, Lord. Can barely stand. Look at that. The river's taking her away. The guy's holding his child on top of his shoulder. Ben, all exhausted and sick. I want to pause this right here. This is my brother right here. And I would like to say to my brother that hit this third time, he was extremely sick. I think that he got like dengue or something like that. I had dengue on the third one. On the second one, no, on the third one, later on, I found out that I had malaria. And I don't know what he had. And on the fourth one I had, and the second one I had, and the first one I had dengue. but he was extremely sick. He just barely made it through this river, and then we had 6 hours to go still, and he walked through it like a monster, man. You know, I love my brother, man. He did a good job. He did a great job, a fantastic job. He's a Buffalo man. Look at the heroic agent from Tenerife. This is a story that no other media, New York Times, none of them, that they have gone in there to talk about these heroic agents, and we're the only ones that we talked about him. This is why I got this picture behind me. These men need to be recognized worldwide as what they did on this worldwide crisis that hit this epicenter in the middle of Panama, being pushed by the cartel of Colombia. These men are angels of this jungle. They were angels of this jungle. This right here. Whew. This is this right here. Got it on my screensaver. I'm always going to remember you. Always. He's never going to go away from my mind. On that day, I crossed him another river. And again, from crossing him through the first one, I crossed him through the second one, and he asked me if I could be his dad for just that day. He marked my life. He's never going to go away from my mind. And once again, I say, if I can see him, I will ask him if I can be his dad I will adopt this kid. I will not even care. He was crying right here. He was so afraid. And I told him, it's going to be okay. Go over there with your mom. Thank God this is shut down. And you got all these progressive liberals, all these mercenary progressive liberals, that they have never experienced it, that they don't know the suffering, that they don't know their open border policies, what they were pushing. Alejandro Mayorkas, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, crimes against humanity, all these people. Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Chuck Schumer, all of you should be charged with crimes against humanity. The woman crying, look. This is not a joke. You only hear women crying, you only hear children crying, people suffering. Children afraid.
Agárrame esa reacción, mira atrás de ti, el niño de la señora.
Look at that. Crying. And and it was raining. And this was every day. Thousands. Every day. Every day. Every day. Thousands. Every day. I'm not saying this was just a couple, 10, 15, 20. This was thousands every day. And now, this has happened. And I bet that these people are like, wow, they closed the gap. Why they want to close it? Why they wanted to do that? It took a decision from the current administration of the United States of America to execute this mission so it will save lives in Central and South America. You have all these influencers, bloggers, only thinking about the mass deportations, right? But they're not thinking about this. You got all these progressive liberals in the United States of America protesting and going over there and saying that these mass deportations and all of this is inhuman. This was inhuman. This was provoked by the Biden administration, by the Global Compact on Migration, by the United Nations, by OIM, by the UNHCR, by more than 20 plus NGOs who were profiting out of human misery, by the cartel of Colombia, by the cartel in Central America, by the cartel in Mexico. All of these people were profiting out of this misery. You're complaining about mass deportations. Have you counted or have you thought in your mind, it has fathomed through your brain, how many lives have been saved from crossing this horrible journey? And then comes the extortion to Central America by the cartel, the organized crime, delinquent bandits. Then it comes the kidnapping and the extortion in Guatemala to Mexico, sending them through these warehouses, galleras, that most recently there was Guatemalans that they were found in a warehouse. They were kidnapping, extortioning, and taking advantage of migrants. The same copy paste that they were doing in Guatemala with borders with Mexico. Then comes the caravans that we have documented, more than 12 caravans walking with these people kilometers and kilometers in the hot concrete, with seeing the United Nations on their late model vehicles with air conditioning on the side of the thousands of people walking, and they're not doing anything. Then you have the crossing of the North Border, where people risk their lives, pay the cartel, cross through the desert, risk their lives, cross through a river, risk their lives, pay the cartel to jump a border wall. But you only complain about the mass deportations, not everything that has resolved positively to save lives. Do you know how hard these policies have hit the cartel and the organized crime in the pockets? Are you for life or are you against life? That is my question. Incredible. The Global Compact on Migration has been the most disastrous plan, humanitarian under the eyes of everybody, to help the migration, has been the most disastrous plan under the Biden administration, is where more migrants have died between the limitations of Mexico and the United States of America. Under him, the exacerbated trafficking of children and lost children inside of the country of the United States. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is not creating hysteria, and it is not alarming bootlicking of the Americans. The stupid justification language of these liberals. They won't even last 1 hour walking on that trail. And now you ask me, how do I feel after what I showed you? Just a little bit, a tip of the iceberg. What I have shown you and I have exposed and I have talked about. How do I feel now that the Darien Gap has lowered the flow more than 98%? My God, what can I tell you? Then, if you want to compliment with everything that it was happening, the cartel was really involved in the kidnappings of migrants and extortion and extermination camps that they were recently found, and they are recently found all over the place. That's another topic, but it's also a topic that, you know, even leaders of caravans have said about extraction of organs. Nobody else have said it. They have said it. I didn't put the words on them. They have said it. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. Behind me, there is a picture of the heroes that I will always have them close to my heart. Jason, Lieutenant Guerra, Mondragon, K9 officer. Volado, Berraco, Ben Berquam. And the one that is taking the picture, Agent Lopez. 4 times I walk with you guys. And as I said before, in front of more than 500 men when I spoke in the Forum of International Security of Panama, I said to all of you, thank you so much for letting me walk with you. It has been an honor. You are brave men. You are heroes. The angels of the jungle, los ángeles de la selva. That's what you are. Lastly, I will put a video, and I believe that I already put this video, and it's only a 1 minute and 20-second video just to end the live feed. I would like to put this video because it is going to be extremely important for people to see it. Let me just find it. And I want everybody to see it again, as it is pinned in my profile. And it is pinned in my profile in Instagram, I think so. I'm trying to look for it. Let me just look for it right here. And this is the teaser of the documentary that is going to come out as soon as we get a couple of things ready. It has to be complete. And it is called 4 Times Darien with the Angels of the Jungle. And I'm trying to get the teaser right here for you guys to see it, but I can't find it. So let me just give me a second right here, people, so you can see it. It's just 1 minute and I think some fractions seconds. It doesn't take that long. I'm not going to take away that much time from you guys. So I'm trying to look for it right here in all the videos that I got. And it's a lot. I need to clean my phone. I actually need to clean the phone. But I can't find it. So I am going to look for it right here. I think it's on top of these then. Hold on right here, people. Just give me 1 minute. Has to be right here. Has to be through here. And it's basically the documentary. What I want to show is the crisis that we went through on these 4 times, but also the enormous work that it was done by the heroic agents of Panama. I think that they are worthy of it, of mentioning, and also ultimately they are worthy of, you know, they're worthy of mentioning. Hey, How you doing, Chuck? God bless you, my friend, my brother, my mentor, Chuck Holton. Be sure to follow his page. Everyone, the best war correspondent in the world, and also a great friend. Let me just put this teaser of this documentary. I need to clean the phone, by the way. So I believe, I don't know where it's located. I think that I lost it. I can't believe that I lost it. So if I cannot find it, I apologize. I have to look for it, and it's going to take a little while. But I will. Oh, I know where it's at. I know where it. I apologize. I apologize. I'll get it right now. Let me just look for right here. And oh wow, it's not here. Well, phone 2. Yeah, phone 2. I apologize for this. I was not ready to show it again, but I think that you guys want me to show it, so I wanted to show it to you guys. So, Oscar, ¿cuándo vas a sacar los ponchos? It would be nice to get these ponchos out as soon as I can, but let me see if I can get them out. Well, it's sad. I can't find it. I don't know why I can't find it. I don't understand where is it located. I sent the. I don't know why I can't find it. I do not understand why. Let me just see right here. Lastly, I will look again, and if I can find it, I'll find it. If not, I will show it another time for you guys to see. So let me just see right here. Recorded a lot of videos, so I need to clean the phone. That actually needs to happen. So hold on right here. Hijo de la. 98%, it has decreased the flow of the Darien through the, through the jungle. 98%, according to the authorities of Panama. That is a huge accomplishment for the authorities of Panama. Ultimately, every responsibility has landed in the authority. Everything was land. The authority and the government who took this responsibility of handling this, it was Panama. Without no cost, they didn't want this crisis. They did not want this crisis. Here it is. Yes, I found it. Yay. I apologize for that. I was not ready to. Okay. Let me just put it on the screen. Lastly, we will close the live feed. I think I already extended a lot, so. Let me just look for it. Okay, so I can put it on. I already sent it to the laptop. There we go. Here's the teaser. I will read your comment right now. Just give me a second, okay? There you have it. So I will read this. That was the teaser of our documentary, which is coming out. I will read a comment. Somebody's asking, Oscar, please read my statement. And I am trying to find your statement. I don't know, where is your statement? Híjole, where is your statement? Hijo de la jodida. Where is your statement? I cannot find your statement. If you can write it again, I will wait for you. I don't know where your statement is. Read it yourself. Read it to yourself first, please. Yes, boss. Yes. ¿Algo más, patrón? I know you said that with word of advice, right? I don't know where you read, where you put your statement. I don't know where it is your statement. It's many comments, and I don't. You're asking me a favor. You're saying, Oscar, please read my statement. Please read my statement. I don't know where your statement is at. So it's too many comments, and I'm trying to go up, and I don't know where was your statement. Thank you. No, the Christian church just mean. It's too many of them. I don't think. Hijo de la jodida, no. Where are the missing children? It took a day for okay. Yeah. I don't see your statement. I don't see it. So if you can just please read my prayer request. You guys want me to read a lot of things, but I'm not going up again to the whole comments. It's a lot of comments. Just put whatever you want me to read for us. Before I go, I'll give you guys 3 to 4 minutes. It's just a lot. You know, it's a lot of comments. So if you guys can, if you want me to read a statement, just put it right there, and I will read it. Read it for myself first, and then I will say, okay, it's worth reading for. You typed it. Can you not do it again for us? You typed it. I don't even know what is the statement. And the prayer, Oscar, read my prayer request. If you can put it right there, George Smith. Okay, Oscar, please pray for the people in the southeast in the path of the storms. Okay, I'm not a good to set a prayer, but Lord, please protect the people on the southeast storms. You are the one. You are the protector, and you are, our Lord and Savior. So it is up to you, Lord. In Jesus' name, Amen. Somebody saying sorry for the yes, but may I use your clips for your videos? From your videos, if you give credit, yes, absolutely. That's the only thing I'm asking. It's the only thing that that it will be the responsible thing to do, right? We sacrifice so much, and then somebody uses our work and never appreciates what we do. So it's kind of like disrespectful. But just if you put the credit, that will be great. No statements. Okay, there was no statements whatsoever. I don't know. Show all of this again in public setting. Excellent prayer, my brother. Get here. Thank you so much, Jose Avila. God bless you. Questions? Somebody else before I end this is an hour and 44. I extended a lot because it's an important topic. This is a place that I have been in there 4 times, and I believe strongly that it was worth mentioning. So I believe that this is your statement, right? Okay. I don't know if I can read that. I don't know if I can read that. I don't want to be getting into trouble. So I don't think that, no, I don't agree with the first statement that you said. I don't agree with that. And I'm sorry. I do not agree with the first statement. I don't think that, we'll put it on screen just for you to understand why. And God bless you, really, God bless you. But I will explain to you why. And I will explain why I don't agree. Agree to disagree is freedom of speech, right? We, the United States of America, you're talking about we, and you're representing yourself with all the United States of America, right? So you're talking about everybody. And I don't believe that is, but you're talking about we the people. I believe that's why you use we. It says break down we the United States of America, then period. Break down every country for power. And then you say we the United States of America need to stop being gaslighted by our government. We are always being attacked. Stop the CIA. I will tell you how many countries the United States of America has helped. And the justification, it is not in the exchange for what. Just look as what the United States of America has done under the Biden administration for Ukraine. Yes, look at what the United States of America has done for Israel. But ultimately, there has been places where the United States of America has entered, and there has been a lot of problems. We understand that. But I agree to disagree with that. And you say we, the United States of America, need to need to stop being gaslighted by our government. I agree with that. I agree with a little bit of that. We're always being attacked. Being the leader of the world, you're always going to have enemies. Whether you are the leader of the world or you want to be a follower. So I understand that Americans want to be leaders of the world, right? And then you say, stop the CIA. I cannot say more about that, but I can say that a lot of them has to be how do I say it? Well, the organized crime and the cartel in Mexico, we already recognize who they are. And we already identified who they are. And we know who they are. As to corrupt politicians, political parties, and proxies, Sinaloa cartel, this and that, right? Inside of the United States of America, a lot of American people do not believe that they have their own cartel. If you're referencing to those kind of, I don't want to say that much. I think you know what I mean. So I believe that the word I will end with this for the third time because people ask a lot of questions and I think I'm humble enough to answer. But I will tell you, and you're getting into some other topics that those are different topics of what we're talking about because you're saying you CIA trained Hamas and armed them. That doesn't justify that they're terrorists. If they did or not, I don't care. They are terrorist organizations and they should be designated as terrorist organizations, and they're the worst of the worst. Point blank. They're not a militia. They're not a resistance. Stop with that. They are terrorist organizations. You know, this is what I believe strongly that there was a thing that somebody taught me, and it's something that is in Spanish, and it is difficult to translate in English because I have difficulty with that, and a lot of people have been noticing that my English sometimes the translations are from my words to Spanish to English. English is my second language, so I'm sorry about that. But I have to ask you this, to you, this profile. El corrupto hace a la corrupción, o la corrupción al corrupto. ¿Cuál de las dos? The corruption makes the corrupt, or the corrupt makes the corruption. Which do you think it should be eliminated? So I will say it again. El corrupto hace la corrupción, o la corrupción hacia el corrupto. And if I translate English, is the corrupt does the corruption, or the corruption makes somebody corrupt? Who do you think it is? I'll ask you this question. Both. You're wrong. You know what the issue is? The issue is that we're using and we're analyzing a word that it shouldn't be existing. Corruption shouldn't be a word that it should be existing. By you acknowledging that there's both, you acknowledge that you can be corrupted. By you acknowledging that it's both, you're acknowledging that there's corruption, that you can be corrupted by the corruption. So the word corruption and corrupted shouldn't be existing. We shouldn't be thinking of that. It is like a normalization of illicit and illegal conduct. You know, like migrants crossing the river, and everybody in the Darien jungle, in the middle of the Darien, where you're crossing through Texas, through the river. Where you're crossing, oh, I'm going to jump a wall. Where you're crossing, oh, I'm going to cross in the Arizona desert. And you're like, that's normal for you? That's okay? I'm going to cross the Darien. I'm going to go in the back of a tractor trailer. I'm going to risk it all. And because you normalize this illicit and illegal conduct, people understand that it's okay. They're manipulated to understand by a system that it's okay. So the Democrats, let me just say this like it is, and the progressive libtards and the globalists and some rhinos, they made it okay for people to die in the jungle, to people to be trafficked, to pay the cartel. And even they changed the names of these cartel members to be asesores de viaje, travel advisors. So you normalize this illegal and illicit conduct to make it okay. So people are like, oh, well, to get to the United States, what do you got to do, Juan? Oh, man. So I got to go through the jungle. And then from there, we got to get some economy in Central America to just pay the cartel right here, smuggle the coyote. Then it's the difficult part in Mexico, man. We got to go through Guatemala, and then they say it's difficult. Oh, yeah, let's go on social media and watch it. So you normalize all this conduct. Normalize. It is like the pronouns of what is happening in the United States of America. The transgenderism, this progressive liberalism, that the liberals and the progressives, they're trying to normalize this to be okay. A man to be identified as a woman to be identified as a man to play in women's sports. It's okay. It's okay for a man to be in a UFC fight against a woman and beat her up. It's okay. Normalizing this thing in your mind to accept it. For an average citizen to say like, it's okay, you know. Yeah, it's mujer. Yeah, it's a woman. Oh, yeah, and it's a man right there. Oh, it's a transgender. Hey, watch out. Don't say that it's a male. It's a woman. No, but he was born a male. Yeah, but shut up. Don't say it. Don't say it. Because you're going to get labeled by the society as a xenophobic, as a transphobic. So you got to remain quiet. Stay quiet. Amen, but it's against the Bible. It's against, all of a sudden you are really a Christ believer. Shut up. Don't say it. So you're being normalized. It is exactly the same as saying corruption and the corrupt. We normalize this in Mexico. We have normalized all of this in our minds to make it okay. They just found extermination camps in the south of Mexico, and people are like, oh, that happens all the time. The leftists in Mexico, that happens all the time. Eso pasa cada rato. That was found in the past administrations and Felipe Calderón, Vicente Fox. That happened also under Peña, where the 47, students from Ayotzinapa. So that happens all the time. So you normalize that. Oh, there was a beheading. There was a dismembered body. Oh, that happens. That happened under the past administration also. So you want to normalize that to make it okay just for your own agenda, just for your own political party, just to defend the undefendable, the horrible atrocities. So you want to normalize it. So your agenda, your political vision, it will be just, no, this is what it is. And you enable that. Normalize it. So, when I'm telling you the corrupt and the corruption, it is a word that we have normalized, that we're accepting. This is why the other day, man, I'm extending, man. I'm so sorry. What time is it? I gotta go to work. Yeah, I'm just gonna extend a little bit more. When I was, I lost my train of thought. That's what happens. I cannot concentrate on two things at once. You normalize all of this. This is what I said. Okay, I remember now. The other day, they took the life of a journalist of what was it? This Alex Jones guy. What is his? It says, what is his platform? It's a really worldwide platform. Alex Jones. I don't remember. What's the name? Can you guys put the name? Oh my God. Infowars. Thank you so much. Infowars. Right? So there was a journalist who they took away his life. Brutally assassinated. God rest his soul. Nobody knows. Investigations are being done, right? And I made a video about it because I want you to understand. Don't normalize this. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't have no circumstances with a cartel, the organized crime, something, or if he was targeted. If that was the case, worst case scenario, worse. But in my mind, don't normalize it. Because over here in Mexico, we are number 3 in the world for assassinations towards journalists. So every time that they assassinate a journalist, or a journalist feels threatened, that is consistent every day, like me. So when this happens, everybody's like, it's normal. They just assassinated another one. Leave. It's sad, but it's what happens. So this is what I'm referencing to you. Do not normalize this. Do not make it okay. Fight it off. This is the actual problem, where they want to, the Democrats, the progressives, the elitists, these demonic people, they want to normalize open borders and the crimes and all of this. And, we don't understand why they rape, because possibly he had a bad life when he was young, and he had abused. Also, he was abused when he was young, and that landed repercussions of him on a psychological trauma, that he took that repercussion on another child. And we need to take care of them both. We need to, no. I'll take care of them both. Crime is a crime. Abuse is abuse. Law is law. That's it. We do not need to normalize illicit and atrocities. Point blank. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News and my platform also. I am about to end this live feed. 2 hours, man. I extended 2 hours. Extended 2 hours. I think that it was, it was worth it. So before I go, if you guys like to help me out, there's the Coffee app right there on the top. Thank you so much. I will be traveling soon through an epicenter. It is not easy, but it's not nice also at the same time. God bless you all. Be sure to be following me. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Also, like the video, share the video on Facebook and on X. Follow me on X. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission. Stay safe, everyone.